Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. Red Brown is Bloomberg News earnings reporter joining us right here in studio. Easy to find decliners, easier than it was to find gainers, but let's talk about defense stocks.
Let's do it. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I was really struggling to find a winner today, but Northrop, Lockheed Martin, two of those kind of select few that were up today. Northrop actually up 15% this year, so just kind of worth calling out that this whole industry is still performing quite well. So kind of a lot of things in their favor between, we talked about this a little bit last week, $1 trillion defense budget that's being floated around. And I also think it's worth calling out that the worst fears around DOGE cuts really haven't come to fruition quite yet within this industry. So again, another thing, just kind of letting these stocks uncoil a little bit. So yeah, just kind of positives to keep in mind for the defense companies.
Was it Morgan Stanley that did an upgrade, right, of those U.S. defense shares today?
Exactly. Yep. They made they upgraded their view for the industry as well, and I think they're calling out a lot of really important and interesting things. And if we think about all the things that are going bad for the industry, none of those really apply to the defense companies, right? They're insulated from tariffs because on the supply side, it's in the nature of these companies that they have domestic supply chains, right? Just national security. We need everything to be made on U.S. shores. And then also think about who their customers are. It's not necessarily like you or me or anything that we need to worry about a consumer not being able to buy.
Well, I saw Tim take a delivery on a missile the other day.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was not supposed to. I was not to talk about it.
I was riding the missile. I was literally on the missile.
Yeah. Maybe you'll get to work on time if you can ride a missile.
Exactly. Thank you.
Ooh, but I'm bummed.
Okay. Well, speaking of deliveries, let's talk about trucking and what happened with JB Hunt today.
Yeah, they had their worst day since Liberation Day, actually. So it was the worst performing stock in the S&P 500.
Liberated from value?
It sounds like it. Liberated from business going well. So they're one of those companies that if you had to pick a group that would do bad in a situation where tariffs are permanent, semi-permanent, what have you, they're among those very high list of companies. There's a list of companies.
Yeah, they bring things to people.
And
if there are fewer things and they're more expensive, it's an issue.
It doesn't take any of us geniuses here, I guess, to tell people that.
It's we geniuses.
Whoa, coming in hot.
Is it hot here?
All right, so that one got beaten up. I mean, I love the transportation space. But yeah, right? Like a great macro indicator.
Definitely. And I think just to kind of put a number on how this is affecting companies day to day is JB Hunt slashed their CapEx expectations by $200 million. So like already quickly moving to find some ways in which they can maybe save some money. That might mean we're not buying new trucks. We're just repairing the trucks that we have. But they're really doing, real immediate action to conserve cash where they can.
Well, and just perspective on that. So they now expect net capital expenditures for the full year between 500 and 700 million. Their prior view was a 700 to 900. So that $200 million haircut, that's a pretty big deal.
Really quite a bit from what they were. I think around 25% or something along those lines. So
you look kind of Mad Men. So why don't you bring in this next one?
Okay. Omnicom. They do everything when it comes to communication. They do advertising. They do PR. What's going on?
Well, yes, they do all those things. And I mean, even that diversity of their portfolio, I guess, wasn't enough to really convince investors that their earnings, which came in, kind of in line with what they were expecting, just wasn't enough to kind of convince people.
Can we do an honorable mention, Red?
Yes.
Are you going to do it?
I'm doing it.
Go.
Hertz.
How could you not, Red?
Oh, no. I don't know if I'm prepared.
You don't need to be prepared. You don't need to be prepared.
We're going to add
this is the biggest gain ever.
It's crazy.
It happened late in the session. It was one of Carol's gainers. How did you find out about that gainer? This morning I was like, Carol, you got to do Hertz.
My super smart co-host said, Carol, you got to do Hertz for your gainers.
Shares jumped 56% at the close of New York trading and continue to gain in the post-market session, seeing a 78% higher as we speak.
It's crazy.
We're recording this at just before 5 o'clock on Wednesday.
So Mr. Ackman, right?
Mr. Ackman, yeah, that's right. Pershing Square Capital Management has amassed a position of almost 20% in the car rental company. Red, this stock had fallen 47% over the last 12 months.
Incredible. And now they're back.
They're back. Maybe. We'll see what happens.
We didn't mean to steal your thunder.
Big short position.
I'm learning.
Hey,
yeah. Massive short.
It's earnings season, so we are going to be seeing a lot of you.
That's right.
What are you excited about for this week?
I'm excited about Tesla next week.
Okay, I'm excited about Netflix tomorrow.
Okay. Well, Tesla, I feel like is always kind of my favorite earnings report of every quarter. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.